So the TCG Player CEO stepped down yesterday, and all I've been hearing from people is, "Oh my God, it's over!" People need to calm down. Alright, don't be like the 30% of you that probably are freaking out and you're not subscribed to the channel, blah, blah, blah. Just make sure you at least are subscribed so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So I want to talk about the implications here of the CEO of TCG Player stepping down here, and what does this mean? Now, if you've listened to Alpha Investments, you've listened to a lot of other people talk about this subject, there was a pretty, fine roadmap that was pretty much established. eBay acquires TCG Player, eventually, X months later down the line, the CEO steps down. They put somebody in charge from eBay, which, guess what? The eBay, vice president in charge of collectibles, I think is officially the term, or the person that's taking over. They were in charge of collectibles, I know that. So they're taking over TCG Player. The next thing I believe is we'll see more of a transitional phase here. Probably workforce being unfortunately removed. More eBay employees will transfer on over. You will see, a little bit of a downsizing more than likely coming. Even though you don't want to see it, it's probably going to happen as more of the transitional phase does come on over. Anytime a transition like this does typically occur within companies, that's what's coming. So if you're like surprised Pikachu face at the CEO stepping down, this was written on the walls like months ago, and I don't know why people are like now having reality's coming to fruition here. They were phasing for as long as I don't know, but that's where we're going. And of course, we'll probably see I don't want to see this, but probably see a fee increase later on in selling, but I don't know, they've taken a lot, and there's that. So, what does this mean, though? Now that they've chosen to step back here, they probably got paid a lot of money. Let's call it what it is, all right? eBay acquired the company. There was so much that happened on the back end here that people aren't even aware of. Yeah. So, what does this mean? First of all, I mentioned the layoff part of things. I think that's just going to be an inevitable side effect of this. You've been seeing layoffs across all sectors. If you've read the newspaper, you've listened to the news, if you've seen anything about the current state of the economy, especially when a giant company's transitioning on over into this, like I said, there will be layoffs. There's that. Now, does this mean that they're going to continue to probably push the subscription-based service? More than likely, yes. As much as people don't want me to say this either, the subscription-based TCG Player service that builds you store credit through your purchases, to a lot of the people that do spend very large amounts of money on TCG Player every month to acquire cards, it's actually kind of worth it, honestly. I think it was after a certain amount, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but to the big whales out there that do spend these very large amounts of monies on these purchases, they do actually become worth it. Now, to the average duelist out here that might spend maybe a couple dollars, I was already reading a couple comments from people talking about, I don't use TCG Player, I think the TCG Player is a scam, and I'm just sitting here, I'm like, no. Being a seller on TCG Player, I will tell you that I've had no issues as of late, though customer service was a pretty big hassle the other day to deal with, but that got resolved. So it took them almost a week to get back to me to resolve an issue, and that was not very much like TCG Player. So I'm not a super big fan of that, at least to be honest with you, because their customer service is usually incredibly good. So kind of a little bit with that one, but we'll see if that was just kind of a one-off, but we'll see where that goes. So keeping up with the subscription-based service, I think is still going to keep a lot of people a little bit disappointed, but in the long run, if you're a huge buyer, that's fine. If you're, an average person that just buys maybe a couple dollars worth of cards just to kind of complete a deck. If you're looking at something, you're like, hey, I need to buy a common or two, go on TCG Player, spend the 50, 60 cents with the 99-cent shipping to get it shipped. That's not that bad, all right? If you're just the average person spending maybe $5, okay, that's not a big deal. The subscription-based service is not for you. So I want to point that out, that I do think that we will continue to see them pushing the subscription model, because that is a majority of the big time here. Now, with the transitional phase shift here, this is actually kind of interesting, because now that we have, the big former VP of collectibles from eBay taking over here, I actually am excited to see how much the catalog can actually expand here for this. Now, this is the particular part where I start to find this very interesting, because I've talked to a few friends, and they're like, well, if we could start to see like Japanese Pokemon cards extend onto the thing, if we could actually see, separate categories here for the other languages officially be built in for Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit easier, that'd be good. We've already seen that they've expanded the deck box market. If you haven't noticed that, gem deck boxes, Mana Moon stuff has now appeared on TCG Player, Rubicon as well. All of these big names are already starting to float onto TCG Player as the categories are expanding, all right? And I just wanted to point out here that, with this big jump in the catalog, there's so much potential here as a seller and as a buyer that it's actually incredible. Now, if we could get a backlog for like some of these older trading cards, though, could you imagine if they could actually import in like former Naruto cards? I know that doesn't really mean anything to like the whole 99% of you, but I've seen a lot of these old sellers out here that have older Naruto cards, people that want to collect some of these more vintage things, and I guarantee they're not going to be on the top of the priority list for this. Maybe even the potential to see Japanese wife sets actually be imported onto TCG Player here on the potential back end for selling as well. It is infinite, all right, and that's just more opportunities to make money out here for the average seller. But as the average consumer, that is more availability to you to go to one place and actually be able to build more reputable sources, so you'll have more availability to you, the chance to actually know where to get some of these things. Because I can tell you, there are things in the trading card game world that you are searching for that you have not even had the chance to find yet. There are things that you didn't even know exist. And I guarantee somebody's going to comment and they'll be like, I don't care about this, I don't want to spend money. You'll have another two people that'll be like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for this huge collectible that I haven't seen in quite some time. TCG Player is opening up the door for you to be able to find that. Now, I mean, eBay still exists for, the entire ensemble of things, so that's going to continue to be a very, very major point out here as well. But let me tell you, it just seems like, minus, the company transitional cost that come into this, the overall potential fee rising, unfortunately, because, they got to pay more of the workforce to expand the catalog. I mean, it's not going to build itself. You're at the point right now that we do have the entire great catalog in front of us here, but the cost of expanding that catalog is going to take time. It is going to take a lot of resources, honestly. This isn't going to be something that's going to happen overnight. And I know there's so many people on the doomsday clock here going, oh great, it's fully in place now. eBay's going to ruin TCG Player. I don't see it that way. I think that everything that I've heard about the collectibles category on eBay and the fact that they were doing a lot better is good. And also, I want to point out here, now that we have the greatest thing about all of this, is the potential to get the eBay tracking from the collectible side for trading cards onto TCG Player. If I can get my cards shipped for, the 70-cent tracking, oh, that's a game changer. I would be, trust me on this, 70-cent tracking, potential import over from eBay onto TCG Player, it's over. That changes the entire TCG world. All right, I no longer have to deal with customers lying to me saying they didn't get their package when my favorite tracking number, I know, I understand that tracking doesn't mean crap anymore on half of these packages, but you know what? If it helps 50% of the packages actually get to their destination a little bit better, I'll see where it goes. I'm still optimistic about this. I'm still going to be honest with you. I don't think that this spoils Doomsday at all. I think overall, the ceiling is infinite for what can come from this, but at the same time, with good does come bad. And I think that that's just an unfortunate downside to this. But we'll have to wait and see. So, new powers are in place. We'll see how this goes. So, please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.